Okay, so I'm really excited. I've upgraded to a Keurig 2.0. This is model K575, and I upgraded for a couple different reasons. The main reason is that the water reservoir is larger, and the other reason is because it has the carafe option. I want to go ahead and show you just some basics on how to use this machine, some of the things that I kind of figured out, and I've got my Keurig supplies, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so what I want to show you right now is what actually comes with the Keurig 2.0, or at least this model, the K575. You of course have the machine itself, and then you have the water reservoir. This one shows you the minimum water line needed for the carafe, and then the maximum fill line. It comes with a filter holder, and then on the top, the dates for replacement. It comes with, of course, the lid to the water reservoir. And then there's actually another filter, so it comes with two filters. It comes with a coffee sampler, the manual, of course. And then this is something that's a little bit different. You might not have ever seen before, but it's actually a needle cleaner. So you put it in the machine and with a little bit of water in here, and it's supposed to clean the needle. I haven't actually used this yet, so I'm not sure how it works. But anyway, just so you know, that's part of what's actually included in the kit. So one of my concerns about buying the Keurig 2.0 is I've heard lots of rumors about not being able to use generic pods, or some of the old pods that I had might not work, or even be able to use, I refill this and use it in my Keurig machine. So I was concerned I wouldn't be able to use these anymore, and part of that's true. So these definitely do not work in it anymore, but I have a solution for you. And then these are a couple of pods that I had that were left over from my other machine. And so you can see that this one here, it's just regular pod, and when I put it in, I pop it in, and it just gives me an oops message. This pod's not designed for this machine. Okay, so that one doesn't work. This one is an old one, and put it in, and it says ready. It's ready to go. And so this one actually does work. Okay, so some work and some don't. So if you still have some old pods laying around that you want to get rid of, or if you buy some generic pods and you find that it's not working, there's something that you can do. You can go ahead and take off the top from one of the pods that does work. So here's one that does work, and then you can just, I've got some tape on here, and then you can just tape it on there. Make sure that it's kind of, I just kind of put it in the center, okay? And then I go ahead and pop it in there, and this was the one that would not work previously, and now it's ready to go. I've noticed that this Keurig machine is a little bit noisier, a lot noisier than my other machine, but it works well, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so I was able to get the pod to work. I have my cup of coffee. I'm going to go ahead and take this top off, and I'm going to store this so the next time I have a generic pod, or a pod that doesn't work, then I can just go ahead and tape it back on and be set. I mentioned earlier that the refillable pods don't work in this machine, the ones I use for the regular Keurig machine, but Keurig has a solution for that. They do sell refillable pods that you can buy for the machine, and I actually picked up a couple that I found at Walmart. Now this one is just for the regular sized coffee cup, and then this one is for the carafe. This was only about $5, and this was like $10. So that's a really good solution. I can just go ahead and refill with coffee that I like and be able to use it over and over again. Good way to save some money, and I just like really having these around. Okay, so when I first got my Keurig machine, all I had was a little sampler pack, and then I had my old pods, and of course the one I couldn't refill. So I had to go to the store and get some pods that would actually work specifically for this machine. I had a hard time finding any that would fit, that were meant specifically for the carafe and for the mug, and it's important because that's what triggers the settings on your machine. So I went ahead and went to Keurig online and ordered. I wanted to make sure I got the right thing, and I failed. I ended up ordering this one, which was supposed to be for the regular coffee size and for the cup, and it's for the view. So this one is no good. Oops. Anyways, I was successful in getting one for the carafe and one for the mug. Okay, so using the regular pod for the cup setting, you're just going to stick your pod in there like you always do, push it in, and it's ready to go. This one it has a default setting of 12 ounces, and so this will fill up to 12. And this is just the regular pod. These are pretty easy to find in the grocery store, no problem. You're ready to go. Okay, so here's where it's a little bit different. With the regular pod, I have the 12-ounce setting. The settings actually vary. I think it's 4, 8, and 12. So those are my options with the pod. But it won't allow me to go to the mug setting without a specific pod that says it's intended for the mug. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in here. And in looking at this, the shape of this, it made me go back and look at the one that I had thought was wrong. And actually, I'm saved, so I can use those as well on this machine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick it in there. So it fits in a little bit snug, but it's there. And then this will give me the setting that allows me to go to one of these other options. So for the number 2, Keurig gives me the 16 ounce. So that would be for the taller mugs, or depending on how full you want to have your actual mug. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the carafe. Now, the carafe does not come with the machine. You have to buy it separately, and I picked this up at Walmart for like $16.50 or something like that. So that's a really good deal. And the reason I bought this, or the reason this was an important feature, is maybe we're going to do a coffee overdose, I don't know, or I'm going to have guests over. So it's just a more convenient way of having coffee ready, of course. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that open and stick this in here, and it's ready to go. So it's giving me the different options. I'm going to go ahead and go with the number 3. That's the carafe setting. And I'm going to go ahead and move this tray out of the way, and then take the lid off. And I'm just going to slide this in here. It's not like anything that clicks. I'm going to adjust this. The default is the 3 to 4 cups, but I'm going to adjust this so that I can go up to the 4 to 5. And if I wanted to set it for an auto brew, then I could go ahead and go into this feature and set my clock for whatever time I wanted it to go off in the morning. But I don't want to do that, so I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going with the 4 to 5. I'm going to go ahead and just push this, and it's ready to go. Now, one other thing, if for some reason I forgot to put the carafe in here, like I almost did, it signals that the carafe is not in there, so I can put it back, and that's fine. And I want to show you one other thing. I'm going to go ahead and show you the pod that I bought from Walmart. It would actually take like 2 scoops, and I'm going to return this one because this doesn't actually stay closed, which it should. And the thing that's a little bit different with this one is that I actually have to pull this down in order to get it in there. Okay, but it does go in, and then close it up, and it still gives me all those options again. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit because I want to show you a little bit about the features. Of course, it has a clock on it, and if I go into this eye, it gives me different settings. It gives me the language settings, the clock setting, and then the auto on and off, and it has pages almost that you can turn. So I'm going to the next page, and then this one has to do with the brew settings. So this is the one that you're going to probably be most interested in, and this is just the K-cup setting. That's just your regular setting. So the default on this one is the 12, but I could go back to the 10, the 8, 6, 4, okay? So I could set one of those as my default. It still will give me the option of changing back and forth, but anyways, if I don't want to have to keep changing every time and I have a favorite, then this would be the way to set it. And go back, I can hit save or go back. This is the carafe setting. I tend to use the 4 to 5, so I'm going to go ahead and save that setting. All right, and then for the mug, which is the number 2, it gives me a 16, 18, goes back to 12. So 16 was the default. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. If I wanted my brew to be a little bit stronger, I could go ahead and hit the strong button and then hit save. I'm not going to save that. I'm going to leave it. And then it's just got some other buttons that you can kind of play around with. But I'm going to go all the way back, and it's just got your light functions, a wallpaper, a night light, temperature, high altitude, water filler reminders, and restore to factory settings. So I haven't really played around with many of those, but that's when you pull out your handy manual and it will give you some more information. Okay, so I just want to be clear. There are 3 different settings for the Keurig 2.0. There's the K-Cup, which I've used the K-Cup for this one, and that gave me the 12 ounces plus a little bit of room for my cream and sugar. So the 12 ounces works fine for this mug. There's the mug pod, which would be for your travel mugs, your bigger coffee mugs. And then there's the carafe pod, which would be, of course, to fill your carafe. And those pods matter because they're going to be what sets the default for your Keurig machine. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I'm going to sit here and drink my coffee. Until next time.